Improve It, fam. I know you. You are a leader in your organization, and you've realized that you need to up-level your professional presence and pay particular attention to the power skills that could excel your career. But you're having trouble finding a group of like-minded lifelong learners who can cheer on your growth, and a learning methodology that will keep you intrigued and wanting to learn more. As a result, you remain stagnant and you watch your peers soar in their careers while you try to piece together fragments of leadership tools by Googling, reading boring business books, and attending conferences that leave you with a lot of ideas, but no plan on how to implement. You're looking for a support system, a virtual mentor and cheerleader, an outside-of-the-box and interactive approach to learning skills that can help you fast-track career success. I am personally inviting you to the first ever Improve It virtual mastermind. This mastermind will give you the support, confidence, creativity, and bravery that you will need to up-level your power skills and create next-level growth in your career, all while infusing laughter, levity, and positivity. Duh. Here is what you get: a 6-month mastermind program. Each month, you're going to get one live power skill workshop, an e-learning course post-workshop that reinforces the learning, a 60-minute accountability call with members of your cohort and mastermind, and an ongoing Slack community to share the wins, the best practices, and receive and offer support on a daily and weekly basis. Oh my gosh. I would love to have you in this mastermind as a listener of the show. Our application process starts on March 30th, 2022. It is application only. So you'll see a link to the application on our show notes. Click that link, apply today. The cohort starts at the beginning of May 2022 and will end at the end of October 2022. Come join the other members of the Improve It family, create connection, and use your creativity for good to accelerate your career growth. You'll find the link to apply in the show notes. I hope to see you soon in the Improve It Mastermind. Improve It family. I'm recording this show post the show with Chris Doe. So know that we're still working on a new name. All right. We are still working on a new name. Also, I'm singing into this episode because today's guest is a singer with me. She loves to sing and do things like, hey, like that. And I've never met another person in real life besides my mother who birthed me who loves to do that. So you're in for a real treat. Improve It, fam, to be named something different. I am obsessed with today's guest. I cannot even tell you how amazing she is. You're just going to have to listen for yourself. But let me tell you, I will tell you this. I will tell you a little bit about her because she has got a phenomenal background. Jasmine Francis is a dynamic people leader, and she has almost 15 years of experience working in both corporate and startup environments. She's best known for her human-first philosophy and her unique hands-on approach. She's passionate about building and implementing inclusive strategies that focus on creating a values-driven culture. And she's delivered a world-class employee experience time after time. Now, currently, she is the Vice President of People and Culture at Thinx, responsible for synergizing business goals and people strategy. And she's also the co-founder of Humanconnexion, a boutique HR consulting practice that provides customized solutions and advisory services for organizations' specific needs. Now, prior to joining Thinx, Jasmine has been an authentic thought leader in HR operations, technology, and analytics for BNY Mellon, Xander, Goldman Sachs, and the Carlyle Group. Now, she holds a BA in French, which interesting fact, we're going to talk about France in the show, from East Carolina University, an MSc in Organizational Development from Catholic University, and a Diversity and Inclusion certification from Cornell University. I'm taking a pause here because this comes to the point where I tell you what the show's about. And today's a little different. I am not going to give you any indication other than the title of this show, because Jasmine has a story and she was vulnerable enough to share it with me when we met prior to the show. And I knew when she told me that story that it had to be told here on the show. She said she was very open to sharing it. And going into May is Mental Health Awareness Month, I knew that this story could impact somebody here today. We're going to talk all about mental health and why attention to your intention matters. She's going to share a very personal story that I think will resonate, and she shares it through the lens of her amazing personality. The woman that Jasmine is somebody I want to strive to be, honestly. She is so just vulnerable. She vibrates at a really, really high frequency, and you'll hear that. And she is one of the most genuine and caring thought leaders, people leaders that I've had the pleasure of chatting with. And now I'm going to call her a friend. I'm like, sorry, we're friends forever. So I'm going to stop talking, but just know that today's show might be hard and a little triggering to hear for some people. So I just want to set that up, that she is going to share a very personal story. I'm going to allow her to tell it. Let's get into today's episode with Jasmine Francis. Are you a leader or change maker inside of your business, organization, or corporation? Are you looking for new, innovative ways to drive morale through the roof? Are you looking for fun and exciting icebreakers, team building exercises, and activities that will foster team growth, friendships, loyalty, and completely transform your organization from the inside out? Have you been searching for a fun and unique way to create change instead of the same old dry, boring leadership books and icebreakers that aren't actually working? Hi, I'm Erin Deal, business improv edutainer, fail fluencer, and professional Zombie who is ready to help you improve it. My mission in life is to help you develop teams and leaders through play, improv, and experiential learning. In this podcast, we will deep dive into professional development, team building, effective communication, networking, presentation skills, leadership training, how to think more quickly on your feet, and everything in between. We have helped everyone from Fortune 500 companies to small mom and pop shops transform their business, their leadership, and their people through play. So grab your chicken hat. We are about to have some fun. Welcome to Improve It, the podcast. I am verklempt because Jasmine, we're already laughing. I am so excited to have you on this show. I love you. We just met literally like 2 weeks ago, and I said, done. You're on this show. Improve It fam. We are in the process of renaming the Improve It fam. So the Improve It fam, to be named something different, is just going to love you, embrace you. So welcome to the Improve It podcast.
Thank you so much. We literally met yesterday and our energy is just phenomenal together. I am so honored to be here. You are everything. I'm so lucky to even meet your people, to meet you, to meet all the wonderful things and be a part of all this greatness. So you're just so funny. I can't even...
I think the same about you. No, I know. We're already laughing, and that's good. Well, because I know, and I want to share this with the Improve It fam. So when we met, it was like a sisterhood. It was like, I get you. Like, you are my spirit animal. I'm my spirit sister. I was like, I need this. My soul was like, yes. And then kindred spirits. And then we did a high kick, and I
We
said,
did a high kick.
we did a high kick, and we've both wore bedroom slippers and leggings over Zoom. And I said, I feel like we were destined to be friends.
We were. We are. That's why we are. We're going to be friends forever. Like, you just can't break up this friendship.
No.
I'll be devastated.
Me too.
Okay, good. We feel the same way.
This is happening forever. We're here now. We're
here. Here we are.
And we have it recorded to prove it. Okay. We've got this.
We have receipts.
Yes. Record. There is a record. Okay.
There's a record.
Okay, let's start with this because I think this is always fun. We do something in our improv workshops that is called 5 Facts. It's a fun little game, and it's literally where we learn about you. 5 things about Jasmine that we couldn't find on your bio, your LinkedIn profile, your resume, that you just are like, this is the real Jasmine. Oh, I got so excited I almost knocked my computer over. So
I hope that what I say makes that worth it.
It's going to happen. I was like, woo! I'm already there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is this little cheer, and it goes like this: 5 facts, 5 facts, 5 facts, 5 facts, 5 facts. And then I'm not even going to question any of the facts. You're just going to list them off.
Okay.
And we'll count them out. All right. Are you ready? I'll do the cheer one more time just because it's ridiculous and I need to do it. Here we go.
Can I just put some background noise to it?
Yes. Here we go.
Okay.
I love this. Yeah. 5 facts. 5 facts, 5 facts, 5 facts. 5 facts. God. Yes. Okay. What's one? Nailed it.
I collect crystals. I love crystals. I love minerals. I love rocks.
We were meant to be friends. I got to show you the drawer in my office. Number two.
No.
Yes.
Okay. My favorite type of water is Pana water, and it sounds so bougie, but it is the best water from Tuscany, Italy. Boom.
Oh my God. Okay. 3. I need to know this water.
I, in my past life, was born in Paris, France, and I am really Parisian, but you can't tell that, but I know that in my spirit.
4.
My favorite color is pink.
Oh, number 5.
Oh, that was hot. Number 5 is I have plants everywhere because plants give energy, and I love the energy of the universe.
I knew that we were friends for so many reasons. And I have to tell you, okay, spoiler alert, I just went in this store on Friday, and I live in Charleston, South Carolina. It's called The Station. Okay.
Ooh,
and it was filled with plants and crystals. And it was literally the most magical store I've ever been to. And so now that I know that, Jasmine, you will be given gifts. You will be given gifts because it was such a magical place that I just felt the best energy in the entire world. And I said I could have lived there. That could have been my home. Oh, okay.
I love this. Oh my, can I just say really quickly that when you're around like the crystals and the plants that are giving off life, the vibration is so high. And like you said, you can feel it. And just so you know, fact number 6 is I am the number 1 gift giver in the universe. And so if you give me a gift, it's going to be a competition. Just want to let you know that.
I see. And I love that so much because you know what? It's the gifts that keep on giving. It's the gift of love.
Right. The gift of love.
Gift of love. Okay. See, we were destined to be friends. This was meant to be. And see, I love that game because now I know these things and I never would have known. So, okay. I love this. I'm a big energy person. You're a big energy person. I feel it. I knew the moment I talked to you, this was a meant to be situation. So let's set an intention for today's show.
Yes.
What's one word? What's one word you want to get out of today's show?
Changing lives. That's 2 words.
We can hyphenate it. That's it.
Okay.
One.
So that's technically one word.
Changing lives. Okay. I love that because let me ask you this. When we met, like we said, we did high kicks. We felt the great vibes. Do a lot of people tell you that? Is that something that you feel a lot? Or is it just when you meet people who are on the same vibrational frequency that you feel that? Or how does that work for you?
Oh, I love that. You know what? I'm such an empath, and I think you are too. And so people tend to feel they definitely feel my energy and I feel theirs, but I'm more attracted to and put more intention and energy into people that are on the same vibrational plane as me.
Attention and intention. Yes.
Intention. That's right.
Right.
And it took me a long time to learn how to do that, but game changer.
Jasmine, I am so with you. And as the older I get, the more I am just so my energy goes where my energy flows naturally. And it's like, if it doesn't feel like work if I'm talking to somebody on the same playing field. If I'm I'm like a child, like at the playground right now, like, wow, I'm so, because yes. And it just feels so nice. And so I wondered that. I've wondered that too. And I feel like that makes a lot of sense because you have this spark, right? You have this spark, you have spunk, and we talked earlier and we were introduced by a former guest on this show, Cassandra Rose, and she's amazing. And, we got to talking about what does the Improve It fam need? What does Jasmine want to talk about? And there was a time in your life where this spark was dulled. Don't dull my sparkle. That's something I like to say. Don't dull my sparkle, right?
Right.
So can you just, first of all, start talking to us? I know you've changed careers to this amazing company, Thinx. So can you tell us a little bit about Thinx and your role there?
Yes, let's definitely start with that. Let's start with the sparkle and the shine.
Yes.
Okay. So I am the vice president of people and culture at Thinx. And for those of you that are not familiar with Thinx, we are an underwear brand for people with periods and incontinence. And so I can vouch for myself. I wear the incontinence ones all the time. They're amazing. But we are the type of organization that's very real. And one of our values is actually be human. And I love that because we actually show up as humans and we talk about those things that are so taboo, which is really the narrative of who we are as an organization. And so I get to show up there every day as my true self. I get to say what I want. And I'm heard. And it feels so good to show up to that.
Oh,
so Thinx. Shout out to Thinx.
Shout out to Thinx for thinking correctly and hiring Jasmine. I mean, what a cool place. That is literally all we talk about on this show is wanting to show up at work and feeling seen, heard, and like you belong and matter. Like that is a very amazing thing. I think that's how companies should view work these days. So let's talk about this. So when we chatted before, you mentioned you had some mental health struggles prior to Thinx.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share what led you to Thinx and sort of that journey that you went through to find this amazing company?
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Everyone.
Okay.
Hold on to your seat.
Yes, I'm putting my hands open. Here we are.
Me too.
We're ready.
Here we
receiving.
are. I'm feeling your energy.
Okay.
I feel your healing vibes as well. So I was definitely one of those people that's like, I have to do this. Success to me absolutely equals I'm at the top of the corporate ladder. I don't care how I feel about it. That's what success equals to me, and I will do anything to get it. And so that was my line of thinking for my whole entire life, really. And so I was really challenging myself to try to, promotion after promotion. How do I get to the top? How do I get to the top? And as I was kind of growing within my career, I was becoming more and more unhappy. And, life happens. We all have things outside of work. And I had a really traumatic incident happen to me while I was working at a big corporate bank. And I was like, okay, I can do this, but I can do this because I'm Jasmine and I can do anything. Yeah. So I'm working at this big bank and I'm respected and I can't let people see that I'm quote unquote weak. So I'm going to continue to show up. And so I turned myself into two people. One, into the Jasmine who was like basically had PTSD from this incident, who was so heartbroken, who was just not in a place to be able to show up to anything in her life. And then there's this Jasmine that's like, I'm powerful. I can do whatever because I have to show that I can do this, because if anyone sees me weak, I'm not going to meet my goal, which is to get to the top. And eventually those two Jasmines just basically exploded. And I felt as though I couldn't talk to anybody about what I was feeling. And so I went to the doctor. I started seeing a psychiatrist, a therapist, and I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety, but really, really bad depression. Perfectionism, which really isn't a true diagnosis, but it definitely was driving how I was feeling about myself. And then PTSD. And so I'm like, I can't tell anybody I'm dealing with this. They're going to think that I'm quote unquote crazy.
Right.
And so I'm going to act like everything's okay. And so I started to feel like I was getting to a breaking point when I became a little more disengaged in my work. And, my quality of work was going from A+ to B-. And I'm like, I just don't have it in me to give anymore. And so I started reaching out to some people, and everyone's like, Jasmine, but you got it so together, Jasmine, but you're exactly where you want to be, Jasmine. You've gone through way worse. And I'm like, you're right. So what am I complaining for? I should just be grateful. And then one day, it was a Sunday, and I had all of this work to do over the weekends, and my husband was working on weekends, and he gave me a kiss and went off to work. And it was slowly going into the evening, and I'm like, I got to get my computer back out. I got to do some of this work ahead of Monday. And it just dawned on me, Jasmine, you don't. There's an easier way. Just take your life, and you don't have to worry about anything anymore. And at that point in time, it was like the magical solution. There was a sense of happiness that I got of figuring out how I can remove myself from this situation. And that's exactly what I did. I attempted to take my life and was very, very, very close to being successful at it. Obviously, I don't want to trigger anybody, so I won't get into the details, but I ended up in ICU, and I was on life support. And there was just so many unknowns. We didn't know what my life, if any, was going to look like. And so when I woke up, I had no idea what happened. I'm like, how am I here? What happened? And it wasn't until my best friend, she was like, Jasmine, you really need help. I can never lose you. You really need to get help. And so, this wasn't actually too long ago. And so, since then, I have been to so many group therapies. I had to go to a residential facility for a month. I had to go to, DBT classes, CBT classes. I have a whole team around me that I lean on every single day, both medically and non-medically. And so, some days are really, really good. And then some days are really, really not great. And I think part of this journey is recognizing that it's okay to not be okay, is number one. And what do I need in my life so that I can show up as my best self? And what I needed at that time was to get out of the industry of finance and banking and cutthroat and inauthenticity, and then go over to something where I aligned with the values of the organization, where it was a little smaller and my voice mattered, where if I was having an episode, I could say to my boss, I'm not in a good place right now. I really need some days off. And it would be, okay, great, whatever you need, without it having any type of damper or downstream impact on my career growth. And so that's it took me a long time to kind of, understand this journey and the purpose of it. But now that I do understand it, I'm so grateful, because if I didn't go through it, I definitely wouldn't be at Thinx.
Thanks. I love the songs that we get throughout this story, because I'm sitting here listening to this amazing, amazing woman. Like when I met you, I just was like, man, she's my forever friend. And you just give off this light and this energy. And I'm so grateful you shared that story. So thank you so much. Like I genuinely, oh my gosh, I have like a little tear in the retina. I am like, okay, you're
Not
ready.
in the retina.
Right in the retina. But it is,
Not the retina.
it's
No,
just,
no.
no, not the retina. Retina, stop. I have contact lenses. My contact lenses are foggy. No,
Don't let them slide out. That's the worst.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, so I do think though, the fact that you are so willing and able to be vulnerable and share this journey with people who might be going through something similar, who may not have gotten to that point, but have thought about it, who have felt, because I'll tell you this, in my past real life, I believe in past lives too, but in my past real life, I was sober. There was a breaking point, not to that extent, but I was so burnt out. I would have done anything to not be at that place anymore. It was so hard. And I think that you sharing this story is so, so impactful and can help so many people, because you are now at this place where you work for an organization who sees you, who believes in mental health days, who says it's okay to take days off if you need it, or and sees the value in surrounding yourself with a mental health team, whether it's an actual medical doctor or spirit healers or whatever you may have in your wheelhouse. You found this path and now you're sharing, which helps other people feel less alone. So I'm going to give you a slow clap. Okay, Jasmine, you deserve this. You deserve this. Okay. You're coming out on top. So what would you share, knowing our audience, this team of people, leaders, these people just like you who care about the people in their organization, who want to make an impact, who love people and want to help people. So that is your role. And I love that you are sharing this, because a lot of times people, leaders, they forget themselves because they're constantly putting out care for others. But it's this notion of you have to fill your own tea kettle first before you can pour tea in somebody else's cup. Like, you have to take care of this human being before you can pour love into others. So let me ask you this. What would you tell, because you said this was recent, right? This was a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing you would tell Jasmine from 2 years ago? What's one piece of advice you would have told her in those moments? What's something now you can look back and say, I want to tell younger Jasmine from that moment?
Oh, that's deep.
It's real deep, isn't it?
We're getting deep.
We're the same human. I'm literally like, when I'm uncomfortable too, or if I'm like, when something's going, I'm like, I'm going to sing, I'm going to add in a song, I'm going to put a little retina.
It's going to make everything okay.
It's going to get us through it. I love it. Or maybe if it doesn't have to be Jasmine, it could be you. What would you tell somebody else going through that situation, if that helps?
Oh, okay. I can, you know what? I think I can answer both of them. I think I would say for myself, it would be, you are enough. What I would say to that, that one hits real quick. If it were someone who was in that situation, and unfortunately there's so many people in that situation, I say to them, again, it's okay to not be okay, and talk to someone. Talk to someone. You're not alone. And I know it's so cliche. Everyone says that, but sometimes when you're in it, and I thank you so much for your vulnerability and sharing how you were burnt out a while ago, because as you know, it's like, when you're in it, it feels like the most massive thing that you could ever feel. It almost sometimes feels like quicksand that's just bringing you under to this not good place, and trying to get out of it feels nearly impossible. And so it's such an isolating experience. And in those times we forget, and understandably so, as to why, that there's so many other people hurting in the exact same way that we are. And so I think, and I'm going to use this word again, being very intentional about being in touch with how you feel, and who you share your feelings with. And for those that are on the receiving end of hearing someone's feelings, my advice to you is listen. Listen. And that was, I think, a miss on my experience is because much of the feedback that I got was, but you're enough, but it's fine, but you've been through worse, but you're so smart, but you got it all together. And I'm like, I don't. If I did, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you now. That may be the appearance of it, but you have no idea what I'm feeling inside. And so when someone does trust you and confide in you, your role is to listen and say, how can I best support you? That's it. That's it. And I think with those three things, the outcome may look a little different.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God, I love that. And first of all, you are not enough. You're right. It just hits. It's like, okay, you can say it, or you are not enough. You are enough. Oh my God, you are enough. That in itself is just like, yes, it feels like you're holding yourself. You're giving yourself a big hug. You're reminding yourself that you're okay. But I also loved what you said. It's okay to not be okay. I just had a really interesting conversation. I'm part of a women's mastermind group, and we had a really great conversation about mental health and at work, and how the mental health is now a common term, and it should have been a long time ago. But it's okay to not be okay. And I think as a leader listening to this, number one, tell that to yourself. And, we, as people leaders, give all this love and advice to other people, but how about starting that advice with us, right? And allowing yourself to say, okay, I'm not okay right now. I don't feel like I'm able to handle this properly. I don't feel like I'm equipped with the things that I need to be equipped with today. And that is okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there's a level of being human and of being humble that comes with that. Is I think that as we grow in our careers, and especially as people leaders, there's this expectation that we put on ourselves that we have to have the answers. We have to set the tone. We have to be the example. And yes, it's always good to lead by example. And at the same time, leading by an example in a human way does much more for you and your team than leading by an example in an inauthentic way. And so as you show up as yourself and you say kind of to what you were just saying, I don't have it today. I don't feel like I have the adequate tools to get through the day today. You're sending the message to your team that it's okay for them to use their voice and say, I'm feeling a little burnt out. Is there anything that you can take off my plate? And that's the type of culture that you want to build within your team, is you want them to be able to have a safe environment where they can express how they're feeling, and you can, to the best of your ability, protect them in a way to take whatever needs to get off of their plate, to give them the resources that they need to refresh themselves and regroup themselves, to ensure that they have, the days that they need, regardless of how many days they may or may not have accrued, or if it's unlimited PTO, like they have the time and the space to take care of themselves, because otherwise you kind of end up building this false narrative that we are a team. We have to show up perfectly 24/7. We have to be on top of this, that, and the other. And yes, those things can be true. But at the same time, what can also coexist is I'm not feeling okay today. I need some additional time. I need you to take these things off my plate. And as a leader, that's our role to help foster and cultivate that type of environment.
Oh my God, I love it. Because you're right. And it's all those sayings of like, negative and positive can exist in the same sentence. It really can. And take any adjective in the negative and any adjective in the positive, and those things can exist. And that's okay. And that is where we're going with the way that people are showing up to work. The 4-day work weeks are becoming a thing, prioritizing just balance. There's never balance. I say blend, prioritizing that blend, and allowing people to just leave at 5:00 if they have to go to their kids' soccer game, or leave if they're not feeling great and need to take a moment for themselves and just lie down and binge Netflix, whatever it is.
Yes, whatever it is.
Yes, they can't show up and do the work if they're not in a space that feels safe enough for them to be able to say those things. So what I want to know, and I know our audience will want to know too, what are your practices now for your mental health? What are you doing now to protect your mental health, to keep you in this vibe? Because this Jasmine is just all the high vibes. So what do you high vibes? What do you do to protect the vibes?
I love your voice. It's so Celine Dionish, but then there's like something else in there. Like, it's like if Celine Dion and someone else had a baby, but I can't figure out who the other person is.
Fran Drescher
yes.
from The Nanny, probably. Yeah, yes. That's it.
Maybe
that's
a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Nasal twang.
There's some of that.
I'm going to tell my husband that because one time at my friend's wedding, I took the microphone and started singing. My go-to karaoke song is Like a Prayer. Anyway, he goes, and he's like the best, most empathetic human. He was like, your voice is heinous. And so I say that with love, John. Anyway, thank you. I will continue this Celine Fran Drescher duo forever. This is all I got. That's all I have to work with. Okay. So what do you do? Because I know we've got the crystals. I know you're into energy, which I'm such a big proponent of. Tell us what you do to keep the vibes like this. And I'm sure they're not always like this because I run at this pace, but then it's like at the end of the day, I crash real hard. I'm just like, okay, I got to talk to the wall. I got to stare at the wall.
That's
and just stare at the wall for a minute. So what do you do?
You know what? In my heart, I would love to respond and say, I journal, I do yoga, I meditate. That's what I want. I want to be one of those people that say that. I do so bad. But those don't resonate with me. And that's okay too. But I know that those things work. And you know what? Just before I answer this question, I think it's really important to have some type of sense of self when you're figuring out what you need, because what works for some people may not work for you. And that's been such a struggle for me because you should do this, that, the other. And I'm like, I'm trying it, but it's not hitting me. It's not getting there. See that high pitch? It's not there. It's not there. So what I do, you know what? I like what you really said about, walking away sometimes and just laying in stillness does a lot for me. And it's not necessarily that I'm meditating or I'm doing any type of yoga. It's just sitting and letting myself rest.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Does wonders for me. Deep breathing does wonders for me. There's something called square breathing that's very common. I don't always follow that per se, but just catching my breath, especially when things are really hectic at work, just literally standing up, walking away from the computer, sitting down somewhere and just breathing in really slowly and breathing out really slowly and letting all of the chaos in my mind go.
Yeah.
And then coming back refreshed. Because in all actuality, we all don't have time to step away and do a class of some sort. And so what are like those quick wins that you can get to just kind of center yourself back? Something else that works for me as well is taking a walk, just being outside with nature, even if it's just for 5-10 minutes, just putting things back into perspective of realizing that, yes, I love my job, of course. And at the same time, as we talk about coexistence, I do get stressed out sometimes. I do get overwhelmed sometimes. And I do need to bring myself back to what matters because work does matter. Yes. It pays the bills. Yes. And it's not my world. What my world is aligned to who I am at my core. And I'm bigger than just my job. I'm bigger and I was brought into this universe to do much more than that. So how do I make sure I keep my line of sight on the bigger goals? And in order to do that, I need to reconnect. And in order to reconnect, that's when I take a walk. That's when I do the deep breathing. That's when I sit in stillness. So those are things that are just really quick, realistic practices that work for me. And if yoga works for you and, some of the other more popular and common ones, like that's awesome too. I want to be that person so bad. Like I want to carry a yoga mat and I want to wear cute little yoga pants and I want to be like, I'm going to yoga and then leave yoga.
In Paris. You want to do this in Paris. Yes.
In Paris,
yes,
exactly.
Yes.
My home country.
Right.
And then, be like, my life has changed forever. And I will maybe be that person one day. I'm just not at this moment.
But see, that's okay. And I think what you just said is so important because people are like, get up and exercise, meditate. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I have found things for me that work for me.
Love it.
But it doesn't work for everybody. And it's like, you can share what works for you, but you can take little bits and pieces and create, choose your own adventure kind of a deal, because it's so important to make it feel comfortable, natural, and calming for you. And walks in nature. Oh my God. I mean, just walking sometimes at lunch, I'll go outside for 10 minutes. I feel like a new person. I feel like
Absolutely.
a new person, stepping away, breathing, like the breath work is a huge thing. And I haven't read the book. I have it on my nightstand or at my nightstand table. Breathe. Have you heard of that book, Breathe?
Oh, no.
I haven't. I have not read it, so I'm not going to sound like I know what I'm talking about. But there's like a whole book on breath and how it can comfort us and how it can just get us in this space and how we can, almost like a child self-soothes, how we can, as an adult, self-soothe ourselves through this breath work.
I love it.
But I think
Amazon, here I come.
Here it comes, Amazon in the cart. Okay.
In
the cart. So let me ask you this. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? What's the best?
The best piece of advice I've ever received is use your uniqueness as your strengths. And I have done that more than ever. When I was younger, I always felt out of place. I always liked the things that no one else was into. I was really insecure about certain things. And I was so emotional because I was always absorbing everyone's energy. And everyone was like, you're so sensitive. You're so sensitive. And I'm like, I'm sensitive. And now here we are.
Yeah.
And I use it as a strength because I'm able to, and especially my career, in HR, it's like the ability to be able to connect with people in an authentic way and empathize with them. Although you don't know what it's like to be in their exact journey, you can assimilate in some way and feel this is what, or at least close to what they must be feeling right now. And so that allows me to make decisions based on how I think that other person will feel.
Yes.
And it has been such a strength for me because there's not a lot of people, leaders out there that can really get the work done. And they also know how to connect. They have the IQ and the EQ. And so I want to be that's what I aspire to be as I continue to grow in my career. I want to be one of those few leaders that knows how to be, that people person, but I also can drive the work and we can get the work done very well. And I want to be known as someone that's really smart and connected. And here we go with the either or, because I find a lot of times in the people space, it's either, oh, they're so great. They're so nice. You can talk to this person about anything. Or, they're not the nicest, but they're so smart. I mean, you can talk to them about anything, give them any problem and they'll figure it out. But very, very rarely do we hear these both coexist in the same sentence for the same person. And I really want to be one of those people. So that's definitely what I'm striving towards.
I think you are one of those people.
Oh.
You are. You not will be. You are. This is so cool. And it's just really interesting because you talking in the beginning about you being an empath and, that was you taking on those emotions. And now you figured out a way to harness that superpower and really understand what somebody's going through, at the same time offer that emotional support and also just any other support that may be needed. But you're doing it through this lens of, I care about you. And sometimes you're right, that either or, that is a tricky thing. And they can exist together.
Yes.
They can exist together. I love that. Okay, Jasmine, what's the worst piece of advice you've ever received? Gosh. What's the worst?
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like it either.
I struggle with that. I have been told that so many times in my career, because if I don't know, I don't know. And I will say, I'm not sure, or this isn't my expertise. I don't care what level I'm at. Who do I have around me who can teach me? Because learning never stops, right? And it goes back to the conversation we talked about earlier where, people assume that once you get to a certain level, you're supposed to know everything. You've experienced everything. And at the end of the day, that's not true. That's why you build a great team around you, because they're experts in their own fields. And so if I don't know the answer to something, who in my group, who in my team can I go to educate me so that I can be better? And I prefer that route rather than I'm going to pretend that I know when I actually don't know. And I'm going to eliminate the opportunity to showcase my team who is skilled in this and I'm not. That's actually not only a disservice to me, it's a disservice to the people that I brought in intentionally because they have these skill sets that I don't. That's
right. And okay, one thing I failed to mention is, so you work at Thinx, but you've also, in the past, year? It's been a year from Humanconnexion? Tell them.
Yeah. Something like that.
A year and a half-ish, two-ish. I don't know. I'm hitting from the hip. But tell the Improve It fam, outside of Thinx, what you have built and the team, because you have two teams essentially, right? Like you have your Thinx team and then you have this Humanconnexion team. Tell them about Humanconnexion.
Yes. Thank you. So Humanconnexion is an HR consulting firm that my co-founder and I founded. And the premise of it is really to understand that employees are humans first. And it kind of goes with this whole theme that we've been talking about today, where, employees, yes, that's our secondary role. But our primary role is that we are people, we are humans. We feel, we experience, we have lives outside of our jobs. And so as organizations, how do we show up for our humans in the right way so that they can in turn show up for employees, for us? And so that's kind of the mindset as we're working with different organizations. We work with very large organizations, small startup organizations. We really bring that lens to say, okay, what is the gap that you're experiencing within your organization? How have you been currently addressing it? And let's kind of switch our perspective a bit and figure out how can we be more relatable? How can we build the connectivity between the gap and the people who it affects so that we can be strategic and successful in implementing whatever that you need. And so it's been great. We've gotten so much interest and things have just, it was something that we originally started and we found this gap and we were like, let's do it. And then next thing you know, word of mouth started spreading and we have so many clients. And it's been such a blessing to be able to connect and learn about different industry types, meet amazing people, and get experience. And get experience doing things. Go ahead, say it one more time.
I know that. Let me give it a look. Okay, keep going. Sorry, keep going.
Oh my gosh, I love you. And what's what we were saying earlier, also get that experience of things that I wasn't as skilled in, so that I can bring that back to my team. And again, the learning doesn't stop. And so I will never, quote unquote, forget where I come from. And there's always going to be things that I don't know. And that's okay. That's part of being a human.
And connecting at Human and Connection. Yes.
Connection.
Human connection. Yes. Connection. I love the spelling of it too. Connection. Okay. So we'll put the link to that as well in the show notes. So if anybody wants to reach out to Jasmine, as you should, it will be there for you. So click away. Okay.
Click away.
All right. So we're going to get to this final question, and it's a series of questions. This is our fun lightning round, Jasmine. Okay. Now,
I'm nervous.
No, okay. This is so fun. So in improv, we say there are no mistakes. There are only gifts. I have this beautiful sign up here in my podcast closet that says fail. Yeah. Okay.
Love it.
So I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I just want you to respond with a one-word answer. And if you say more than one word, it could be hyphened. We'll allow. I will say fail yeah, and this like creepy voice. And if you nail it, I won't fail yeah, but it's more fun. Either way, we just want to know your answers to these questions. Okay. Are you ready, Jasmine, for the fail yeah lightning round?
I am ready.
Okay. One word to describe your early career.
Naive.
One word to describe where you are now in your career.
Evolving.
One word to describe your people management style.
Human.
One word to describe your work fashion style.
Fly. Duh. As I swing my hair.
And then one word to describe this interview.
Okay, just because I want to hear this amazing sound, I'm going to say it is, that's 2 words, totally 3, amazing and in honor. Oh, I did 7 words.
Girl, yeah, but I'll take it. Nailed it. Oh my God. It is an honor to have had you on the show, to have you share that story, to help so many people, to change lives, which was our intention when we started the show. So tell the Improve It fam, if they want to reach out to you, we'll put the link to Human Connection. What else? Where else can they find you?
Yes, they can find me on LinkedIn. I would love to connect with as many people as possible. I'm always doing really fun stuff. And so to the extent that you all can check me out there, that'd be great. And then also, like Erin was saying, check out Human Connection. We do amazing things. And thank you, Erin. You are amazing. Thank you to your listeners. You all are amazing. And I am now going to be an avid listener, I must say.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to this amazing family of people. And I just got to say, Jasmine, you're a gem, literally, figuratively, and the world.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. But the world really is so much better from hearing the story. I feel like this was something that someone needed to hear today. And I feel like paying attention to your intention is just so impactful. And we are enough. You are enough. You matter. The world needed to hear this. The working world needed to hear this. So thank you so much for just being you, for sharing, and just for shining your light on us, because it is bright. And don't dull that sparkle. Do not dull that sparkle, because we need this Jasmine in our world. You are such an amazing human being. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful, and I will make sure I sparkle, sparkle, sparkle,
sparkle. I'm giving you a hug. This is me hugging my computer. Do you see?
Okay.
There's a
Can
hug.
you see
There's
me?
a hug. Yes.
I'm
really
also,
close.
I'm hugging,
okay.
I'm hugging you
close
back.
to my
okay.
microphone. Okay. All
there
right.
We go.
Here we go. We're going out, Jasmine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Improve It fam. What a woman, right? I knew that today's episode would be phenomenal. I wasn't even aware of how phenomenal it could be, and it blew my mind. It blew every expectation I ever had. So I just want to share again a thank you to Jasmine for sharing that story with us, for being vulnerable and sharing a real journey that some people also might be going through. It's okay to not be okay. That's one of the takeaways that I have from this episode. It's okay to not be okay. And as people leaders, we need to allow that to happen with our team members, but also with ourselves. And so I want to say this: if anyone listening has any triggers or knows anybody who is thinking of an attempt, there is a suicide prevention lifeline. I want to share that number right now, just in case. It's 1-800-273-8255. Again, 1-800-273-8255. That is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So please speak with somebody if that is something that is going through your mind or the mind of a loved one. That link and that number will be in the show notes as well. So as Jasmine said, you are enough. You are not alone. The past few years have done a number on all of us, and to say that our mental health is perfect is a lie. It's always a work in progress. So I want you to find something that brings you joy. For Jasmine, it's taking a walk outside, doing some deep breaths, taking a walk outside. For me, it's being outside, it's exercising outside, it's meditation. I really find a lot of comfort in that. And I know that if that is a part of my day, that I've set my day up for success. Your homework, your takeaway today is to find something that brings you joy. It could be any of those things, but I want you to right now write down whatever it is. You're probably listening to this on your phone. Text yourself. Send a text message. You can literally do this if you've never done it. Send a text message to you. And I want you to write down that one thing in a text message. So it's there as a reminder to do that thing today. Then I also want you to go in your phone and I want you to go to the alarm section. If you got an iPhone, if you got the Google phones, whatever, I don't know what the Google's like, but on iPhone, you go to alarm. And I want you to put an alarm for a specific time of day to do this thing that brings you joy. Take a moment for you today. You matter. You are important. You are enough. Give yourself the space and the time to just be with the amazing human that is you. Improve It, fam. I just want to say thank you so much for listening to today's show. You know the drill. Keep failing, keep improving, because this world, it needs that special it that only you can bring. I'll see you next time. Hey friends, thanks for tuning in to Improve It. I am so happy you were along for the ride. If you enjoyed this show, head on over to iTunes to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Now, if you're really feeling today's show and you've improved it even just a little bit, please take a screenshot and tag me at Keeping It Real Deal on Instagram and share it in your stories. I'll see you next week, but I want to leave you with this thought. What did you improve today, and how will that help your future successful self? Think about it. I am rooting for you, and the world needs that special it that only you can bring. See you next time.